Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Nightmares
in the Dice Realm.
I'm going to be your host, Johnny.
And I'm Romy.
So we're here talking about the Eldritch Horror setup now. So if you didn't watch our previous video of the components and overview of Eldritch Horror, you can go check that out with the link in the description below. And this one will be about how you set up an actual gameplay. So what we did for this one is we decided on the ancient one, which was
the Nephren-Ka. It's like an Egyptian type of mummy type of monster, ancient one. So with this one we have the regular board, which is like with the base game, and we have the sideboard of Egypt as well.
And that was talked about on the ancient one card in the setup box here, where we've got the setup. It says to set aside the Nephren-Ka special encounter cards, which are here, and to set up the Egypt sideboard, which is this one here, like Romy was saying. So that was the setup on that. And then when you set up a sideboard, it also has a legend over here that tells you some rules that you have to follow, which Romy will tell you what the board over here says.
So it says during setup, set aside one mummy monster, one sand dweller monster, and spawn one sabak monster.
So we have set those aside over there.
So these are what they look like. I'll put them up on the screen as well for you to see. So we just have to keep that one side with all the Ancient One cards and take those out when they are
called upon. Yep. So
and we also had a prelude card that we drew after we chose our Ancient One. So did you want to go over that with them?
Yep. So once we chose the Ancient One, we went ahead and, like I said in the previous video, I had shuffled up all the prelude cards and we fanned them out. Romy picked one and she chose Apocalypse 9. So you study the walls of your apartment. Hundreds of newspaper clippings surround a heavily marked calendar. Multicolored threads connecting each article to a corresponding date. 22 years have passed since the last occurrence. 22 years and 9 months. This is going to be the big one. You can feel it in your gut. The world is not prepared. So that is our little story leading up to it. And then, so now it says, after resolving the setup, if Shud Mel is not the Ancient One, place one Eldritch token each. Place one Eldritch token each on spaces 2, 5, 8, and 11 of the Doom track. If Shuttle is the Ancient One, one Eldritch token on space 14 of the Doom track. Then the lead investigator discards one gate on a space of his choice, or each investigator gains one talent condition. During this game, if Shud Mel is not the Ancient One, when Doom advances to a space containing an Eldritch token, draw and resolve a disaster, then discard the Eldritch token. So this is, like we talked about in the components overview, we actually went over the disasters, so we have to actually do that, which is over here. So you got your disaster cards along with your component cards that you're going to have to draw when you're in a city that's devastated. So a devastation encounter card. So we will follow this as we continue the setup. So with our Ancient One, we saw in the corner, it's 12 Doom. So we set our Doom up here at 12. And the Omen token always starts on the green Omen over there whenever you start any game, unless otherwise directed by the Ancient One or by your Prelude card. So then next would be to determine, you could determine lead investigator, but that's probably last. But Romy and I chose our characters, which is, mine is Diana Staley, and with her I get an arcane manuscript asset and a wither spell. So she's more of a spellcaster, which is something different than what I usually play on the other games, but this one I do actually like Diana. She's actually a really good character. She's one of my favorites. So I did choose her.
Okay, and then I've got Vincent Lee, who is the doctor. So he really helps himself and other investigators with injury and illness conditions. So he's a really strong and good character, and he normally comes with bandages, which helps with health and healing, and then composed as well, which is a boon talent, which is really nice too. And he starts on space number 17, which is in India. So that's over here on the board on this side, and then
mine is space 7 in Central America.
Yes.
So she's right there already. And then of course we did grab our character cards that we talked about as well in the last video.
Yes.
So if you need to go back again, reference that video where we talk about those. But this gives your characters either a good reward or a bad reward, depending on if you follow the card. So as we go through the playthrough, we'll go into more of that. But now we got our cards there.
And then with the gates, you just have to make sure when you shuffle the gates together for the gate stack that you put in all the Egypt sideboard gates, because we normally keep them separate. So we'll just shuffle those in together now and then put that on the side of the board.
So for you guys that like poker, it's kind of like shuffling poker chips together. It's a little bit difficult. I'm not very good at it. You kind of shuffle those in, and then what I'm going to do is just randomly grab one of these here, and then we're going to grab that one, and then that one, and then now we're going to shuffle these again, because like I said, I'm not very good at doing the poker, the poker chip shuffle. Not a big poker player, so I just usually go like this, where I just kind of move them back and forth, draw from the middle, and drop one, of course. And that happens every now and then, but we'll pick that one up and put it in the stack. So then you can set your stack kind of anywhere, somewhere that's close by. Sometimes you can stick it on the board if it's not going to intrude in anything, or if you don't need to know the paths, like we already know all these paths and everything, so I can set it there. So Romy would have got that token, we're going to put it there. So then you also have to make sure you set up all your cards here, which are your encounter cards during your encounter phase. So these will be set up over here. I've already shuffled them all. So we've got one for the orange section here. We've got some for the green. There's the purple. And then of course your common tiles are the black ones here. We've got our otherworld encounters, which are for our tokens here. And then for the Egypt sideboard, we have the orange ones. And then we've got the brown ones, because there's some brown, there's 3 brown here and then 3 orange over there, which are now shuffled as well, because we need those as well for this. So.
And then we have to do the Mythos deck.
Yep, Mythos
for
deck.
our ancient one. So we're going to show you how to set that up now.
So I've already shuffled these. I've got my green, my gold, and my blue. So I go from left to right. I go green, gold, blue. It's just how I do it, because that's the order they want you to do it in. And it's also the order that it is on the card, is green, gold, blue, which is why I kind of follow that. So for stage 1, we need 0 green, we need 2 gold, and we need 2 blue. So then you take those 4 cards and you try to shuffle them up. Try not to memorize which one is which, and rig the deck for yourself. You want it to be random, so I don't even think about it as I'm shuffling them. So then you take that stage 1, I set it off to the side. Now we're going to do stage 2, which is 1 green, 3 yellow, and no blues. So now I'm going to shuffle these. I've already lost track of where the green card is, so that way I don't know where it is. So we go ahead, and what I usually do is I take stage 1, put it on top of stage 2, and boom, you don't shuffle. We go now to 3, which is, or stage 3, which is 3 green and 4 gold. 3, 4. And then you shuffle all these together. So I just randomly mix them up, try not to look at them, try not to memorize which one's green, which one's gold. So we do know, though, that stage 1, we got our rumors early on, so we'll hopefully have to take care of the rumors, which are what your blue cards are. So we'll have to determine, see where those end up. But now that stage 3 is all shuffled up, we take those and we put it on bottom. So now you got stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. You do not shuffle them. They are separate. So then we're going to set that over by the ancient one again. And then I am done with these. So I will put these back in the box while Romy lets you know what's next.
So in this game we have 3 stages. So we have your action phase, which you do 2 actions per investigator, and then your actions actually can include travel, prepare for travel, acquire assets, rest, gather resources, trade, focus, like gaining 1 focus, and component actions, which is your investigator. Each of your investigator has their own action on their investigator card as well that they can do. Then after that we move on to encounter phase. So in encounter phase you will do the location encounter, which is if there's nothing on your space or anything like that, you're just in a city space or whichever space you're on, there's no monster or anything, then you can do the encounter for that area. If there is a monster in your space, then you would have to combat that monster. So that's the encounter phase. Then after that, the final phase is the mythos phase. So during the mythos phase, the lead investigator draws a single mythos card and resolves the effects from the top to the bottom. After resolving the mythos card, the lead investigator may pass leadership to another investigator.
Yep.
So that's how that works.
All right, and then
we need to put the Eldritch tokens on the tract.
Yep, we will.
That's
once we finish the resolving the setup. We haven't done that yet.
Okay.
So we've got our asset cards here, which I've already shuffled as well. And so they go into, you start off with flipping the top cards into the reserve here, because we already took out our assets that we needed, and then I shuffled them. So then there we go. There's our reserve. So then these sit here. That's why I usually put this right here next to that, so that's easy. If you take a card, you got to put the reserve back in, unless you draw a rumor card or something that takes away the reserve or takes away 1. You do deal with that. We also have our artifact cards here, which again will usually come from our expeditions, which are here, which as you can see is Tokyo. We've got the token on Tokyo because that's the card that's face up at the moment. And then all our conditions, spells, unique assets. So then on this side, we've got the Ancient One cards. So you've got your mystery cards, which these are the ones you have to solve to win, which for him, when 3 mysteries have been solved, we win the game. So we have to solve 3 of these before our doom gets all the way down to 0. Okay, so we have that. Then we got the clue cards here. So if you end up on a space with a clue, you would draw one of these to try and get that clue. And then you have his special encounter cards, which there's 2 different ones, which you've got the Dark Pharaoh, and then you've got the Black Wind for this one. And so when you get in his mystery cards, some of them will tell you that you have to draw this or the other, the Black Wind or the Dark Pharaoh. So it depends on what the card tells you. You may have to draw that encounter in order to do something. So that would be his cards for the Ancient One. Believe we have set everything up. We've got the Mythos cards. We've got all their out. So we'd have to flip over a mystery card to figure out where we start. We've got all of our stuff out. Our characters are set up on the spaces. So everything is out, all of our encounter cards. Everything's ready to go, guys. So now we've got to do what the Apocalypse Nigh said, which was we have to place 1 Eldritch token on spaces 2, 5, 8, and 11 of the Doom track. So we take these Eldritch tokens, which was 2, 5, 8, and 11, so 4. Okay, so we go with 2, 5, 8, and 11. Okay, and then whenever our Doom token goes down to that specific one, if we lose Doom and we go down to 11, we have to do a disaster card and do whatever that disaster says. So that's actually kind of not very fun. So
then we got our first Ancient One card as well.
Yep.
So it's the worshippers of a forsaken pharaoh. So I'll just read it for you here. The Church of Starry Wisdom was founded upon the premise of unlocking the mysteries of the shining trapezoidum. Now they aim to bring about the return of Nephren-Ka, the Dark Pharaoh. After investigator resolves a location encounter on the Egypt sideboard, he may spend 1 clue to track down the followers of the Dark Pharaoh. If he spends the clue, a cultist monster ambushes him. If he defeats it, place 1 Eldritch token on this card. At the end of the Mythos phase, if there are Eldritch tokens on the card equal to the number of players, solve this mystery. So as mentioned before, this is number 1 that we have to do. We have to do 3 of these cards in order to win the game.
Yep.
So that's our first one that we got to complete.
So when we start playing the game, the object for us would be to get over to the Egypt side and try to get to that right away to do it, so that we can get the Eldritch tokens on that card and go to the next one. So that's our quest.
The main quest.
The main quest to do. So now we need to look at the rest of this, but in order to do that, we've got to finish the rest of the setup, which is step 9, where we've got to reference our card. So you start off with spawning 1 gate, since there's only 2 players. So we will draw this top one, which is Tunguska, there. And then we'll get a gate stand.
There we go.
And then we'll put that on Tunguska. And with that, you spawn a monster. Anytime you open a gate, you spawn a monster. The monster bucket's over here, so I will randomly grab a monster to spawn with it. So we'll go with, we'll grab 2. We'll go with the top one. So we got a Bayaki. And there's no special thing on it, so it does spawn right there. If there was a green icon on it, it would tell you that you have to look at it to read to where it spawns, because then it would spawn somewhere different instead of with the gate. So the Bayaki would start there, and then we also have to spawn a clue, which we have 1 clue to spawn. Romi's got the clues over there, so she'll grab one at random and see where it needs to go.
And we've got San Francisco.
Up over there.
So we just place it on San Francisco.
So place it on San Francisco. So now that is all the steps of setup. Now that that's done, we can go on to the lead investigator can discard 1 gate on any space of my choice, or each investigator gains 1 talent condition. So we can discard this gate if we wanted to, or we can each gain a talent condition, which I think, in my opinion, since we only have 1 gate out, it's not like a bunch of us and there's like already 2 or 3 gates out. I would say a talent condition is better, because talent conditions can help you quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I think we'll do a talent condition, which the way we normally do it is, and I think it even tells you in the rule book, is to draw from the bottom of the conditions pile until you come across a talent, and then I will get the first one and then Romeo will get the second one. So.
And that's because he's lead investigator.
Yep. So I got composed, and then, quick study.
Okay, perfect.
So then that's how we do it. And then actually I'll take those bottom cards that I kind of saw already, toss them in there, put that back on the bottom. There are a lot of talent or condition cards. I will show you guys. That's how many condition cards we have now with all the expansions. So it's hard to grab, so sometimes I'll just cut the deck in half. So if you ever see me doing that, that's what that is just because there's so many cards. Same things with the unique assets. There's just a giant stack of them because of the amount of cards that we have now, since we have all the expansions. So as you can hear, we've got a thunderstorm going on outside, so you're probably hearing the thunder crack.
Yeah.
And our bulldog, as always, is snoring in the background. So we might try to put a picture of her up on the screen at some point so you can see what she looks like. Because she's our cute little bulldog that's just sleeping away over there. And with that, I think we have everything set up.
Yes, and ready to go.
And ready to play. So
yeah.
that would be this
setup,
guys, of Eldritch Horror, where we are going against Nephren-Ka in this battle, and hopefully we can defeat it because it's one of the ones we haven't beat yet.
Yes.
So hopefully you join us in the next video where we play through and try to defeat him. So if you guys like this setup video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you'll be alerted when we drop new videos, and hopefully you'll watch that playthrough with us here on Nightmares.
In the Dice Realm.
Bye, guys.
Bye.